hello from the trailer that we are about to load up in Dallas. Someday we will tell the story of how we met 9 years ago. But for now, let's summarize. We actually met because of our mutual interest in passive solar homes called earthships. And since that time, we have been planning for our off-grid experience in the woods and saving money, and we made a spreadsheet to try to figure out where we might want to live.
We ended up going to Vermont looking for land, and we probably looked at least a dozen properties. We talked to people while we were there, talked to neighbors of the properties we were looking at, went into local food co-ops. So we kind of fell in love with it and didn't feel the need to move on to other states to look there.
Before we load up the trailer, we just wanted to talk a little bit about our longer range plans for the property. Once upon a time, we had a plan to build a yurt pretty quickly, possibly while renting an apartment, and then to build an earthship right after that and rent out the yurt on Airbnb. So, why aren't we building an earthship?
Right away, you mean? To build an earthship, you have to build either into the side of a hill, or you have to build up around the earthship as you build it, basically making a hill around it. And the idea was to build back into a slope. That slope is mainly rock, and it's not easy to get through and not easy to excavate. So, and everyone, the couple excavators I've talked to have said it's going to be a whole lot easier if we just blast it with dynamite.
Bringing in fill would be expensive to build up around the rock, and blasting the rock to make fill would also be expensive and destructive. Originally, our plan involved gardens and chickens as soon as possible, and now that we have an RV, we're much more interested in traveling. So in an ideal world, we would get the yurt almost up and running, take the RV somewhere south for the first winter, resume building the following spring. Someday we will be able to live there in the winter.
Absolutely.
So how are we planning to heat the yurt?
The heating the yurt will come mainly from radiant floor heat and a rocket mass heater. A rocket mass heater is basically just that. It's a wood stove, a wood-fired stove, but instead of the flue going directly outside, it goes through a mass which absorbs the heat from the flue and heats a mass inside the house. So that mass it's basically a heat battery. So the radiant floor heat will run a glycol mixture, basically water, through the floor, and we'll have 4 different methods of heating that water and therefore heating the floor. The first being the aforementioned rocket mass heater. I will run tubing through that mass that also runs throughout the rest of the floor. Second thing we'll be able to do is take all the excess electricity that we might produce with our solar system, and we'll be able to dump that into heating, and all that will happen automatically. If we have extra power coming in from solar, we'll just dump that into the water heating system, and we'll be able to heat the house with it. Third system will be a solar thermal system, which means using the sun to heat the water directly, and then that'll be pumped into a heat exchanger in the water tank. And then the fourth system will be purely backup, hopefully, and that is an instant water heater. So when the water comes out of the hot water tank, heated by these 3 other sources, then if it's hot enough, the instant water heater won't even run at all. But then if it's not, then propane will be our a heat source of last resort. Our next big building project after the yurt and after we're able to live in the yurt will more than likely be a shop slash garage. And then after that, if we have a stable income, we'll start looking again at building the airship, which is still something I think we both want to do eventually, if the stars align.
And especially if the YouTube channel grows to the point where we would be motivated to keep putting out content after the yurt is built, and if we are in a position where it's helping us to make an income, then that would be our next logical project to share with everybody.
Oh yeah. So this is kind of high level future hopes and plans. If you have questions or comments, definitely feel free to leave comments and questions. We'll try to answer some.
So the next time we sit down and have a chat, it will be from our Vermont property, and our house here will be for sale, or maybe even sold.
Yeah. Hopefully it sells quickly.
So until then, take care.
See you soon.